Grenada, summer, beautiful.
Clearly it's too much rain at the helm.
Every boat should come with a pair of squawk goggles. Our fancy dinghy winch that we were all very excited and boasting about. Yeah, it broke. It's exhausting. I'm not sure how long you can keep this up.
How many people do you think are still here who were annoyed at us 2 years ago for that night?
I will not spend all our money. I will not spend all our money.
Oh, we need this, and we need this, and we need this. Last time on Red Seas, we visited a local farmers market to eat all their amazing food, and then paddleboarded our way across the bay to a small beach where we could freedive in this incredible underwater sculpture park. We tried to fix our starboard engine again, and then stopped everything when another boat in the anchorage went up in flames. Okay, there is not much wind today, but we're going to lift anchor anyway and head around the corner to Prickly Bay. There's a chandelier around there where we're going to hopefully be able to find a new lid for our water tank. So the test is on. Are these engines going to start?
Okay. No whistle.
Oh yeah, I turned off the battery.
Ha! Yeah, it's not going to start, babe.
1 second. Okay, take 2.
This time?
Is the engine going to start? Yay! Because we're filming, it works!
Every time we start the engine, you guys have to be here now. That's the rule.
Yeah,
from now
sorry,
on.
you're tied in. Can't go anywhere.
It's going to get very boring every single episode, just being beep. 2 for 2. 2 for 2.
Uh-huh, we're going to claim that.
It's making noises.
Okay, anchor.
Anchor. That is a rainstorm working its way down through a valley towards us, which puts something of, a sense of pressure getting the anchor up.
Okay, so the rain started just as we were leaving, but the good news is, although there's a massive grey rain cloud above us, there's a little bit of blue sky, and that is where we're headed. We're just going to go around this point on the end and around the south end of Grenada and see what anchorages we can find around there. Clearly it's too much rain at the helm because Ian has actually got out the squall goggles. I am looking forward to this.
We got these in Martinique. Because when we arrived on our way into Martinique, there was this horrible squall where we nearly crashed into a boat in the middle of it. And it was partly because I was wearing my wet weather gear and it was like all the way down to a letterbox. And I kept looking down to see the instruments and then it was like, ah, and then back down to the instruments. So this was the logical safety equipment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's going to get so much use.
Ready?
Oh, look at you! Wow! And you look really cool.
It's raining in my eyes and I don't even notice. That's how good they are.
Yeah. I think you should just wear them all the time.
Every boat should come with a pair of squawk goggles. Let's be honest, they are a genius safety invention.
So it is making me laugh because, Grenada, summer, beautiful. There is a north storm coming through. So this half of the island is basically under a massive rain cloud right now, which according to reports is going to get bigger and bigger through the next couple of days. There's a big tropical depression storm coming across the Atlantic and it's supposed to aim kind of middle of the Lesser Antilles arc and just clip the top of Grenada. So quite literally this end of the island is under a massive rain cloud, while this end still gets to enjoy summer. I'm sure that won't last, but it's just really funny seeing it so clearly divided right in the middle. Just weird.
Yeah, another thing that we kind of didn't see coming when we left St. Martin. This is one that we've had continuing issues over. Our water tanks, our fresh water tanks. So on board we have a water maker, as you probably remember us installing. That nearly killed me. And it makes water. It's actually back in one of the scoops in the back of the boat. It sends the water all the way forwards, and then we have the option to select which tank we fill with fresh water. And these are the tanks, these big green guys here. So there's one here, there's one under here as well. Something we were aware of, but we've never had a problem with before, is this blue lid. Now, on the other tank, it's exactly what you'd expect. You kind of screw it in until it's tight, and then you're good to go. On this one, it's a bit weird, because you just do a half turn, and it comes away, and you put it back on, and another half turn, and it's kind of locked. Which is nice and convenient, very quick. But unfortunately for us, when we were on our way here, and we hit some quite big swell, this little lid turned halfway, and when I found it, it looked like this. Big deal, I hear you say. So what? The lid just came off. Well, the problem is, what that means is all the water in this tank, as far as we know, well, not all of it, most of it is salt water. So all of that fresh water that we use for drinking, for washing ourselves and our dishes and our clothes and everything, it's now seawater, effectively. So the frustrating part about that is it's about half a tank's worth of what was fresh is now contaminated. Step one is going to be emptying the tank, and then we're going to have to flush it out. And then I'm going to head over to a chandlery and try and get hold of a better style of lid. And we'll probably change both lids, because I'm not totally convinced the other one's doing a great job either. Although it does screw in, this one has just been a problem from day one. Okay, so how do we actually flush the tank? Well, in Indy, that is under the sink. It's a bit of a mess down here. So all of that rubbish needs to go, and then down here is where we have like our whole water system. So there's our freshwater pump. Technically that's a backup one, but it's broken. And then we have like various filters and things here that we have to play with. But yeah, I think step one is going to be to empty this cupboard so I can actually see what's going on. Okay, it's a bit cramped, but hopefully you can still see what's going on. So what we have is the two tanks I showed you out front. They come to these two orange handles here. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but hey, maybe somebody has one of these boats and they want to know more. They're actually helpfully labelled port and starboard tanks. So it's the port side tank that we think is contaminated, which is currently switched off. And what I need to work out is a way to flush it, ideally without having to feed it through the pump. So we're gonna basically just feed that tank through this pump, and then we're gonna send it straight using this little bleed valve straight to the bilge, and then I have to pump out the bilge because our bilge pump's broken. Okay, so step one, we're gonna turn off the other tank, turn on the saltwater tank, and then open this tap. And do that until it's empty. So this one took me almost a year to figure out. For ages, we were switching over our tanks and bleeding the system as part of that, and I kept finding water in the bilge. I couldn't figure out the correlation until one day I happened to have this lid open and I noticed a little bit of water coming in. Yep, that is under our fuel tank. I have no idea why anyone would plummet that way, and I can only assume that something has come loose. But yeah, that means I have to manually pump out the bilge. Fun. I reckon it's about 35 gallons. There we go. I suppose you could argue that this is educational, because if your bilge pumps were to die, you'd question whether or not you could keep up. And I suppose this is quite a substantial leak coming from this one pipe. And Brownie just checked and told me that this is actually pumping it quite a bit manually. Although, I will say it's exhausting. I'm not sure how long you can keep this up. We should probably fix our bilge pumps. We've been going, what, 15, 20 minutes, and I am dripping in sweat. It's quite a warm day today as well, which doesn't help. But this horrible noise is a good sign, because it means the tank has finally run dry. I'm just getting the last few drips out of it. I reckon I can probably switch it back. See this little filtery thing here? So that's basically telling me the tank's empty. There's just a little bit of water coming in, but mostly air and suction. So I can safely shut down the overflow that we did earlier down here. Now there's no more water going to the bilge. And then if I close port tank and open the starboard one, and then irony, I have to flush it just a bit till this little thing fills up. And right now it's filling up this big pressure valve vessel thing over here, and then building up pressure by squeezing the air, and then when it gets to the pressure at once, this valve is full and we'll hear a change in sound. Bingo.
It feels really strange to be here because it's kind of vaguely familiar. We have only been here very, very briefly on 2 occasions. Once when we were looking at a boat to buy, when the sale of the first boat we were looking at fell through, and basically the only thing I remember about that is coming in a torrential downpour
It was horrendous.
and then hiding under a lorry while we waited for it to pass before we could catch the bus
That's how
back.
glamorous we are when it comes to buying boats. Spending all the money, burning all the money, and hiding under trucks for shelter.
And then the other time was where we got off Kuma 2 and we moved into our shipping container. So yeah, delightful memories of this place.
Hey, we had an all-night rave here where we accidentally stayed up till 6.
I think so, yeah.
And we're like music blaring outside as well as in. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah,
And,
I know. How many people do you think are still here who
Who
were
knew that
annoyed
night?
at us 2 years ago for that night?
Yeah. That's why we had to come in under a different boat name.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Isn't this just like the quintessential Caribbean dinghy dock?
It really is, isn't it?
Like, purpose-built, works, palm trees, restaurants, some gentle music in the background. It's brilliant.
I will not spend all our money. I will not spend all our money. I will not spend all our money. I'm gonna spend all our money.
Well, that was a bit of a bust. We probably spent about 40 minutes waiting for somebody to give us a hand looking for some cables that we need.
That's a waste of time.
And then they were like, oh yeah, no, we don't have those. And then we were looking at the water tank lid that we had picked up and we were like, I'm not sure if this is actually going to fit. Let's
And we
go
might
back
get
and
it
measure.
cheaper from somewhere else.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was disappointing, especially because we were literally ignored for 30 minutes. Which, you know, if you're busy, it's fine. But there was one other customer in the shop,
Yeah,
and he was waiting too.
he was. Yeah, it was a slow afternoon. Oh well. We'll find something to keep ourselves amused.
So today is a busy day. Well, we hope it will be a busy day. A few things have happened since we got here. First of all, our fancy dinghy winch that we were all very excited and boasting about. Yeah, it broke. Well, it kind of broke. We thought the whole thing had died. It was able to drop the dinghy, but it couldn't lift link. That was a problem. Then we took apart the kind of waterproof control box that came with it and discovered that it's really just a couple of starter relays, and one of those is bust. So we think we can hunt down one of those. There is an automotive kind of car shop somewhere on the island, so we're going to find that, see if they have the relay we need, and if so, maybe it'll all just start working again. That would be really cool. While we're out though, we're going to try and buy the cables for our auto helm. We've got a new auto helm to go as a backup. Well, actually, it's going to be the primary, and the current one will become the backup because it's so old. We're just not sure how reliable it is, and we hear a lot of stories right now of people having their auto helms fail. So we just need to get some extra cables for that. Shouldn't be a big deal, although we went to the first chandlery, as you saw, and they had nothing at all. Nothing to buy. So we're hoping that we can go to another chandlery we know of, and that they might actually have stock of useful things like that.
This could be the answer to all of our problems. We just walked past a marine discount store called Treasure Trove. So fingers crossed, we'll find everything we need and we won't have to go anywhere else today. I love the randomness of these shops. You walk in, you're like, oh yeah, engine parts. Oh, there's some plumbing. And then you're like, a helm wheel or some random sails or dive tanks and all these things you never knew you needed and then have become really important.
This is one of these really fun stores where you pretty much just, I don't know, dig your way through these buckets, and if you find what you need, then I guess you just take it over and find out how much they're going to charge you. But yeah, I don't think they know half of the stuff they have in stock. There's stuff everywhere. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, I think what will do the job for us. So we'll get a price on them, and hopefully that's the project underway.
Okay, that's a pretty successful trip, I would say. Well, first stop, I should say.
Yeah, we got 2 things ticked off the list.
Yeah, so we got our data cables that we've not been able to find in any chandlery.
Yeah. And I stopped you from spending all of our money on everything else in the shop.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Usually
good
my
toys.
success is just holding you back from being like, oh, we need this, and we need this, and we need this.
There's another thing I've always thought I wanted. Okay, but that just means you have to now go to the actual chandlery in town, which means flagging a bus down, and hopefully they have the last of the things we need, which actually isn't a lot.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's find a bus.
Just as we were starting to get really overconfident and think that we were having such a productive day, we've now hit a bit of a brick wall, and we came to the one place where people told us we could get a relay for our dinghy lift, and they don't have them, and they looked blank when we said, do you know where we could get one nearby?
Yeah, so the biggest car suppliers, which is what it is, it's a starter relay, it's just a scroll prong, but yeah, they don't have one, so they kind of said, well, I guess you could try Quality Services.
They sound high quality, and they're just along the road.
On the road, well, kind of along the road, windy
A
out.
little bit far along the road.
Another day in our wonderful adventurous journey. We're so close to a home run. We almost had everything.
Well, that feels like a solid day's work. We didn't get everything on our list, but a lot of stuff that we can get on with. It is already like 5:15 in the afternoon, so that took an entire day just to pick up a few things. It is really hot. We're back on board. We're eating ice poles and celebrating our success. We'll actually get on and do all the boat jobs another day. Unfortunately, we never found that relay, so we're still having to lift the dinghy by hand, but we'll figure that out another time.
All right, we have put this off long enough. As you know, we have spent a while searching for a replacement lid for our water tank, and we have managed to find one. This guy, it's got a proper screw-in thread, so it's not going to come undone. It's proper made for water tanks. It's the right thing for the job. However, it is a little bit bigger than our current lid, so we have to cut the hole in the water tank a little bit bigger and then fit this in, and hopefully it'll work. Of course, we don't have the right tools for the job. We don't really know what we're doing, so we are going to make use of a pizza box, some blue tape, scissors, screwdriver, and an old Dremel. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Actually, the worst that will happen is if we end up with a bigger hole in our water tank and no way to close it. Well, that's a problem for future me. So yeah, we're going to make a start. We don't really have a plan yet. We're going to make it up as we go along, but I'm thinking some kind of cool umbrella situation. If we had cocktail umbrellas, but like supersized, that would be perfect.
Hopefully feels like Blue Peter, doesn't it? I feel like I should have more of a plan about what I'm doing. I definitely think this is going to be something that takes a few generations to get right, because I'm not entirely sure.
The trick they had is that they could always just say, here's one I made earlier, and then pull one up that the production crew made.
And here's one I made earlier. Okay, and then I'll pull one up from the production crew.
Yeah, we have a production crew. Again, I married a teacher for a reason. She's spent her life doing arts and crafts. She's professional. This shouldn't be a problem. Step up your game.
Look, that would look really good if it fitted in the hole.
Yes. I see a problem with this, though. And you've made a party hat.
Yeah! Says you can't have fun when you've got work to do. Ta-da!
Make that fit. Oh, now you can't get it out again. We're going to need some string to be able to hold it in place.
Just pull it up from the middle.
Yeah.
Glamorous assistant has now taken over.
This is what happens when you spend your formative years making rocket models with your dad. You learn how to secure a piece of string, and normally this would be a little bit of suspension to allow the parachute to deploy properly, but no. In this case, we're going to secure it so it can't go anywhere. And then it comes up through the middle, and then we can hold it from above the tank while we're cutting without getting cut or hurt.
It's foolproof.
Elon Musk, eat your heart out. The moment of truth.
Okay, can I fit it in the space to start with?
And does it deploy? Oh.
Yes!
Magic! Now you just have to sit like that for the next hour.
I'm also just thinking once it's full,
Yeah.
as soon as I go to lower it, it's going to go lopsided again. It's
Someone's
just going
have
to
to-
drop everything in the water. You just bring the Hoover out.
We could do that. Yeah, we could vacuum it back out, I guess.
Okay, wait, I'm here for an hour then. Go. The rest of it's on you. I've done my part.
So fortunately, this original lid, the one that doesn't screw into place, is kind of almost a close template for what we need to cut. Because this one kind of sits on top of the tank, whereas the new one has to go down into the tank a bit. So I'm going to use the old lid, or the old mount, as a frame to cut. And then we'll just have to cut a bit more afterwards. Uh-oh.
We got the first layer of green stuff, like the first part of the hole made bigger. Yeah. So we're just going to take the old white frame off, and then I think we'll need to go around again and make the hole slightly bigger to make the new one fit in. It's definitely catching a lot in our umbrella. I'm scared to take it away, partly because I'm scared I'll drop everything, but also to see if any plastic dust has kind of escaped through any gaps and got into the water tank. Fingers crossed, it's done its job. I got a bracelet. Okay.
That one can go. This one.
So special.
We're actually not too far off, which is good news. I think we just trim out
Oh yeah?
sort of half the circle, make it a little bit larger, and then we should be there. So the battery ran out, so we're doing a clean out of the cone.
Woo!
All right.
Halfway success.
Round one, yeah, the cone worked. We managed to sort of pincer it out in the end. And then our Dremel ran out of battery. It's just a USB one, it's not particularly strong. So yeah, we'll get it cooled down because it's kind of on fire right now and get it on charge. And then we'll come back and tidy up, and I think it's going quite smoothly so far.
All right, take two. We're just drilling out the last little bit of this circle. We should be good to go.
So the Dremel died, so we got out the big guns. And it made a bit more mess, but I think we might have actually managed to cut the hole the right size. So we have to do our magician's assistant trick. All right, here we go. What's that, linking rings?
Yeah. Just as exciting. Woo!
Perfect fit. Perfect fit.
Fits!
Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah. Drop 1, 2 bits in, but not much. Still not bad, look at that.
We'll call that a win. Yeah, all of that would have been in our tanks, and it's not.
You're turning the big hole.
Ugh. At least we've got cushions in here, though.
Yeah, fenders.
Is it on a fender? It's quite good. This is so hard to see what I'm doing. Ready?
Gotta be.
It's great.
Nice. And it's done. Well, I think. I've just put all the screws in, so now it's the moment of truth. Oh, I really hope this isn't all warped. Oh, ha, 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 yes! Thing of beauty. Now there's no seawater getting in there. I'm really pleased now that we have 2 properly sealed water tanks that are fed from the water maker and won't have seawater getting into them anytime soon. So, yeah. Big day, big day. I think we should go sailing next. That would be more fun.
I think it's working quite well. I like the tone of surprise in it.
Obviously, it's going very smoothly so far.
Yes,
and,
I would expect nothing less.
Of course, this is perfectly planned and this is the professional way of doing things.